Aaron, take us through the 7 days real quick.
Well, actually, before that, for those 6 months or more, I was really battling it out with the Lord. And the week before, I finally gave it to the Lord. I was like, if he's not the one, he's not the one. I give everything to you.
So you've got all these emotions.
Yes.
You're attracted to him. You find him attractive. You feel like he's a man of God.
Yeah.
All of this.
And all this stuff, and I'm just in awe, and I finally have to give it to the Lord and surrender it to him and really give it in his hands and say, you're in control. I can finally let it go. And that week, when I finally had peace, and I was like, yes, whatever happens, happens. I'm just going to trust in the Lord. He asked my dad. And I was like, I just had peace about this, and now it's all over again. So those 7 days, I was like, this is a huge decision in my life. It's not like, oh, we'll test it out and see if it works, and if not, we'll back off. I knew that I was seeking my life partner, someone I'm going to grow old with, through the good, bad, and the ugly. Someone I'm going to have to trust, and that he'll trust me. So I I really struggled through it. I was really saying, you know what, Lord, I need an answer. And it was me seeking him. And the Lord definitely used that 7 days for me to draw even more closer to him and my relationship with him.
What kind of things was the Lord saying to you during the 7 days? Or what was day 7? Tell me about day 7.
Day 7, after a lot of, just struggling, I was just like crying. I'm a woman. I don't know if all women are like this, but I'm very emotional. So, I finally was like, he's the one. I grew up writing lists of, okay, what good qualities do I want in a guy? What things do I want to look forward to? And he fit every single one. And his heart was similar with mine. And we want to go around the world. We want to reach out to the nations, and we want to build a great family. And there was just things that clicked, and the Lord was just showing me gradually, okay, he's the one. Go, and I had to really trust in him too, because I was so frightened that I was going to make the wrong decision. And then, that's a big decision. So I finally gave it up to the Lord, and I was like, okay, I believe this is it. And I told my dad. I try to bend their arm and stuff, like, so what do you think of him, So
in a sense, you were tempted to go, if they can give you their decision, then you can blame them if it doesn't work out, right?
Well, well, it's more like they're like my mentors in the Lord. And they always taught me to go to the Lord with this. And so that's what they were doing this whole entire time. Go to the Lord. You have a relationship with him. You're going to grow in this. You just talk to him, talk it out. And I was like, okay. And yeah, so I finally did. And I was like, I believe he's the one. And Mom was like, yeah! She was so excited. I was like, oh, I see now. You're hiding this from me.
Oh, that's good. Okay, Ruel, what was the next step then?
Next step.
So day 7, she tells Dad, Mom, I'm ready to do this.
How about 7 days?
Actually, then let's go back to Bill and say, Bill, now you got a response to make.
Yeah. So when Aaron said that she was the one, then I went ahead and contacted Ruel. Yeah, that he was the one. Excuse me. And that began the process,
Okay.
So
Ruel goes, Dad, I asked him.
Well, when his 7 days, he was just really
just beside himself around the house, just like I can't take this, And after he got the phone call, he got the word. He was like, now I can live, And then it was like, okay, what do we do now? And then that's what it's like for all of us. Really, it's like, okay, we're looking forward to getting here. We know this is it. Now where's the script? And that's what really made it really fun.
Talk about parents' communication at this stage now. What's going on? Oh, you guys are talking about this. When's your first sort of conversation about, hey, our kids are...
Well, we decided that all of us needed to get together. And so we all got together and we openly spoke, which I think is a real cool part of this thing because Ruel and Aaron are very open. I heard Aaron say one time, well, her friends would ask her, isn't that weird that you're having all this conversation with your parents, that you're not having any one-on-one time? And her response is, I don't have anything to hide, which I think is really cool because everything's in the light. And so we came together the first night around their kitchen table, and it was just a great time. I mean, you could just feel the anointing of the Lord there because it was so holy. There's no mix up of emotions and all that often come with romance, and typically in dating, parents are irrelevant. Whereas in this process, they're very much involved. And that brings a covering, and we as parents want to give them certainly space and time to talk. And so that started it all. And we began to just say, okay, we're going down this journey. And I'd given them a movie, a DVD on a story of betrothal, and gave Ruel a book that Aaron had read. It was called The Challenge, and it was another novel about betrothal. And so when I saw Ruel, I said, well, here, you might as well read this, because if you're going to get involved with my daughter, you're going to have to go down this betrothal path, because this is in her heart. And yet there's no one in our community or in our relationships that do this. So we even kind of walking this journey out, drawing from different sources and learning as we go. But it was just really rich because we had such a great time with them and the Atkinsons and us. Around that table the first evening. It was the first of a few, to come.
That's so beautiful. Well, how about either of you guys talk to us about the process from now, from this stage forward, where, you've had this meeting together as two families. You're talking about, it's not like two families just like, well, let's check each other out and go to, on dates and see if this will work or not. You're going, we're ready to go for this.
Yes, and in my heart, I knew I had to have security that before we were going to go through this, that that he thought I was the one, and that he wouldn't back out, because I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I don't want it to be broken very quickly. So I said, you know what? Just getting to know him and stuff, it was always with family. It was always, okay, let's try this out and then see if it works. If it doesn't, let's break it off. I really wanted it to be, okay, I have security to move forward in this. And so it was a process. It was definitely a process. We got together and we would just talk it out. And I saw things in Israel, and I was like, well, maybe we can do this. Okay, what do you think in the, what do you have from the Lord? How can we add that into it? And it was a lot of figuring out, because we both don't know what we're really doing. But we know this is it. And we know this is going to be challenging, because no one's going to understand it. We knew we were going to pave a way and be forerunners in this. So we know that we're going to, well, definitely I knew I was going to have a lot of battles, just on the spiritual level of going through this.
Okay, so Ruel, you guys go out for drives by yourselves now and hang out till 1 o'clock in the morning and all that kind of stuff, right?
Absolutely not.
Really? What do you guys do? Really? What are you doing?
Surprise.
I mean, how are you spending your time, I mean, how are you really getting to know each other if you're not doing it alone? I mean, don't you want to get alone and get away from these people? And all this,
Well, for me, the way God has me wired and everything, I already pretty much knew enough about Aaron, like for me to go ahead and make the decision to say yes.
How'd
And
you get to
coupled
know
with-
her that well? I mean,
From a distance, and from all the wise instruction that my mom and my dad have taught me over the years, and how to know someone in community.
aren't you scared she's
Yeah.
gonna all of a sudden, when you're married and hooked up, then she's gonna come out with the bad side that you haven't seen?
I think everyone experiences that. But the beautiful thing is that I found her in the context of family and community. And it was in that context watching me interact with her father, with her mother, with the elderly, with the young, and all that, seeing all of those different dynamics. I think you can learn a lot about an individual. I don't think it's rocket science. And of course, there's a lot of things I don't know. There's things a lot of things about me she doesn't know. But it's going to be an unfolding journey for both of us.
Discovery together.
Yeah, but the beautiful thing I like about this is the foundation, getting a good foundation for the marriage. And so even from the first time when all of us came together, both of our parents and Aaron and I, and we sat and talked about, we basically all of us went around and shared our hearts. It was such a beautiful time. And also within that, we started, establishing boundaries and kind of working together to define, okay, what does this thing look like? Because
So you guys didn't just set the boundaries yourself, just the two of you. You invited these lovely people behind you to participate in that process?
correct,
Interesting.
sir. Yeah.